Welcome! Today we're diving into a story that you've probably heard 1,000 times, but it never gets old. The Fable of the Lion and the Clever Rabbit. It's such a great lesson in strategy, and it shows us exactly how a sharp mind can win against overwhelming power. So right off the bat, this story hits us with a huge question. How in the world do you take on an opponent who is bigger, stronger, and just flat out more powerful than you are? You know, it's a problem that forces you to think differently, to shift from a physical fight to a mental one.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story starts deep in a forest, but this isn't some peaceful, happy place. No, this place is ruled by fear, and that fear has a name.
At the very heart of this forest, there lived an incredibly powerful lion. I mean, his strength was legendary. Every other animal knew he was the king, and there was just no arguing with that.
But here's the thing about this lion. His greatest strength was directly connected to his greatest weakness. He was unbelievably proud. His ego was as loud as his roar. And as we're about to see, that's going to be his downfall.
And this lion wasn't just a predator. He was a tyrant. He didn't just hunt because he was hungry. He hunted for sport, for the fun of it, and he took way more than he ever needed. This created this constant, terrifying atmosphere for everyone else.
So, facing this constant threat, the animals knew they had to do something. Their first idea was born out of pure desperation, a fragile, delicate agreement designed to just manage the terror.
The deal they came up with was pretty grim but logical. To stop the random chaos, they all agreed to send one volunteer to the lion each and every day to be his meal. In exchange, the lion promised he'd leave everyone else alone.
But let's be real here. This wasn't a solution at all, was it? It was just a delay tactic. It kicked the can down the road. The daily sacrifice only postponed the inevitable. And the main problem, the tyrannical lion, was still there. The fear hadn't gone away, it was just more organized.
But then, a new player enters the game. And it's not a giant bear or a powerful tiger. Nope. It's a small, unassuming creature who understood something crucial. The lion's mind was a much easier target than his body.
One day, it was the turn of a small, clever rabbit. But instead of just walking to his doom like everyone else, this rabbit had a different idea. He took his time. He decided to show up late, deliberately late.
And the lion? He reacted exactly how the rabbit knew he would. He was furious. His pride was hurt that his meal would dare to be late. He roared, ready to attack. He was angry, impatient, and most importantly, not thinking clearly.
And this is where the rabbit's genius plan really kicks into gear. He doesn't beg for his life. Instead, he tells the lion a story perfectly crafted to push the lion's biggest button, his pride. He invents a rival, another king.
Okay, let's just break down how brilliant this four-step plan is. First, you make him angry to cloud his judgment. Second, you use that massive ego against him by inventing a competitor. Third, you lead your blinded, furious enemy to the trap. And fourth, the masterstroke. You use the lion's own power to destroy him. It's basically a masterclass in psychological warfare.
So the lion completely falls for it. He is enraged at the very idea of another lion challenging him. He demands the rabbit take him to this imposter immediately. The rabbit's trap is about to spring shut.
So where does the rabbit lead him? Not to another cave, not to another clearing in the woods. He leads the lion to a deep, dark well, the perfect stage for the final act.
And with total composure, the rabbit just points down into the water and says, "There he is, Your Majesty. That's him." It's just a moment of pure deception, turning the lion's own senses against him.
So the lion looks down into the well, and because he's so consumed by rage, so blinded by his own pride, he doesn't see himself. He sees what he wants to see, a rival king, staring back up at him, mocking him. At this point, reality is completely lost on him. And with one final, tremendous roar, the lion leaps into the well to attack his own reflection, and meets his end in the dark water. Splash!
And just like that, the reign of terror is over. And it wasn't won through a battle of strength, but a battle of wits. So let's really dig into what this victory teaches us.
This chart really lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have the lion's strength, raw power, aggression, pride. And on the other, you have the rabbit's intellect, patience, strategy, psychological control. See, the rabbit never tried to match the lion's strength. It just bypassed it completely.
So the big takeaway from this ancient story is just so powerful. True power doesn't always come from being the biggest or the strongest. More often than not, the greatest victories are won with clever thinking, good strategy, and a deep understanding of your opponent.
And that leaves us with one final thought. In your own life, when you're facing your own lions, whether it's a tough problem, a difficult person, or a huge obstacle, where can you use your intellect to overcome brute strength?